3 winning ideas to close more loans in 2022, and 9 losers that won't. And these winners don't include cold calling 10 realtors every day to beg them for business. Look, I like categories, and I like their ability to put limitations and structure to an otherwise complex and difficult topic. It helps me wrap my head around a big problem, organize it, and this helps me understand and then solve that problem more effectively. Which is why I like the concept so much today, which is 3 ways to grow your business, or 3 ways to get more loans in 2022. Plus, we're going to cover about 9 ways that aren't really working right now. And look, we all have the question, how do I grow my business? And if you're in the mortgage industry, it's more relevant than ever. We just had a record year after a record year after a record year. Coming down off of those highs, well, withdrawal is a little rough, but it's our livelihood, and we all want to protect the progress that we've made. And short of winning the lottery, there are 3 ways you can systematically capture more business, close more transactions, and expand your business in 2022. Category 1, and this sounds simple, but it's get more customers. And there are things that work, things that can work for some people, and some things that are simply not working for anybody today. So it's important that you choose carefully, because there simply, isn't much for one size fits all. And one example of that is buying online leads. If you're buying online leads and you aren't ready to dial those leads all day, like your life depends on it, then you probably aren't going to get much business. You're going to waste your marketing dollars and your time and frustration on that effort. Even under the best circumstances, online leads are ultra competitive. And unless you're convinced that you're going to be the very best at dialing and following up, it's likely they just aren't going to produce business in a cost-effective way for you. But in the same vein, we're seeing general direct mail and postcard campaigns response rates staying super low. So that leaves us with 3 don'ts. Don't do online leads, direct mail, or general postcard campaigns. The truth is they're ultra competitive at the best of times, and currently it's absolutely flooded with competition. For the do's though, we do see that marketing an existing contact database and current relationships, this is a category where most people are underperforming, and it consistently proves to be one of the cheapest and most effective areas to capture opportunities. Some people think they've maximized this opportunity, but they haven't. It's not about marketing just your past customers or the people in your CR. This process can work and it works well, but it's limited. The truth is, most LOs have a much larger network of contacts who they would be comfortable marketing to if the system was done right. Imagine being notified as a loan officer when the mechanic who services your car needs a loan, or the doctor who did your ankle surgery is in the market for a cash out, or the guy who sold you your last 2 cars is trying to purchase a home. People who know you, who need a mortgage, monitor them, and then do sales and marketing to them when they are in the market. Now, that brings us to our next category. Category number 2 is get more referrals per customer. This one, it's easy, but it's tough to wrap your head around because so many people do this poorly. And you know who I'm talking about. It's your uncle so-and-so or your old classmate, what's her name, right? They just joined the greatest opportunity of their life at the latest of a string of MLMs. They want business, and they want it from you and your family and all of your Facebook friends, right? We don't want to be like that. And when it comes to referral business, there are lots of people doing it poorly. So there are 3 things you don't want to be doing. You don't want to be posting on your personal social media asking everyone for business or for referrals. You don't want to be asking everyone you meet if they know anyone who needs a mortgage. And you don't want to put your customers in an awkward position by asking them if they could please write down the name, phone number, and email for 3 people they know who might be interested in your services. It's an uncomfortable situation, but there are ways to do it. The ways to do it is to create a system and a culture of connecting and referring people to other people. Find out about something that they need or see something that they might benefit from and connect them to a person, and you will engender reciprocation. When you talk to someone and you see a need, make a habit of helping them. If they need a moving company, refer them to the best. If they need a plumber, hook them up with yours. Their daughter's getting married? You know a photographer, a caterer, or venues that are awesome. House needs a new roof, you know the guy. If they have a need and you can connect them to a solution or help do it, you'll create a culture where you refer them something helpful at every turn. You've connected them, and when the time is right, if you get the right chance, you can say something like, as we move forward working together, however that looks, from time to time, I may ask you who you may have noticed could use my services. All I ask is that if you've loved working with me, if you truly feel like I've helped you, is that when you notice someone who could use my services, you make sure we get into a conversation. Fair enough? It's not something that you ask everyone all the time. It's about context and timing and laying the groundwork in advance to make it all the difference in how that conversation goes. And for the third and final way to close more loans in 2022, it is more loans per customer. The average homeowner lives in their home for 11 years. It used to be 7, but it's not anymore. 11 years. And the average homeowner also generally goes through the following sequence. They purchase that home, they refinance again, and then they purchase their next home. So purchase, refi, purchase over the course of 11 years. At MonitorBase, we think there's an underappreciation for the value of capturing that second and that third transaction, those two middle refis. It's not just another loan in the pipeline, it's recognizing that if you can do that person's second transaction, that first refinance, you are much more likely to be their go-to person for the next and the next. But to capture that transaction, there are some do's and some don'ts. Do not spam them. Too much, too often, too soon. All of that will leave them feeling overwhelmed. And this applies to email. It applies to calling. It applies to social media or any other outreach, such as text messages. If you go overboard, the worst that can happen isn't that they ignore you. Now, the worst that can happen is that they block you, they unsubscribe, they opt out, they cut you off, and in doing so, you don't get to reach out to them again. It's tragic, but you can decimate the value of your database this way. Rather than your database becoming an asset that returns an ever-growing source of business over time, you could burn it out, leaving you with a depleting source. But there has to be something you can do, because the right answer is not ignoring and not reaching out. That's not the answer. So what do you do? Do monitor. Follow up, follow through, and follow back. Use analytics to find opportunities and really narrow your focus. Find out who is in the market for your services and reach out to them and connect with them. If you're reaching out to 200 people, only 3 of them are in the market or need a loan right now, but you don't know which 3. So how are you going to be persistent, or how persistent are you going to be if you have 200 people to reach out to and only 3 are in the market? It takes persistence to get in touch. And we know that if you're too persistent trying to sell something to someone who doesn't want or need what you have to offer, they're going to block you. They're going to unsubscribe. It's going to be a bad experience. But what if you can narrow down, instead of having 300 people to reach out to or 200 people, you know the 3 that are in the market and need your services right now? How does that change the formula? How does that change your effort? How does that change your effectiveness in being able to capture opportunity? Focus on the right people, and you can act with the confidence necessary to actually succeed in your efforts. To learn more about these strategies and how MonitorBase is helping lenders, banks, credit unions, and brokers consistently find and capture origination opportunities, schedule a demo, and we'll show you how.